Like a Hellcat. Like a hell. Like a Hellcat.
You don't want to be missing that giveaway. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to ESL Season 7 of the Southeast Europe Championship. I'm Jojo Tablik Paras, and I'm here with Costa Rica to bring you day 2 of our group stage. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you doing, Georgia? How are you doing, everyone? I'm
Ah,
pretty excited to see what we are about to see today because both of these two teams are teams that we consider as a dangerous teams if they manage to control the early game, of course. And then after this one, I'm pretty excited to see what they can deliver through the changes that landed into the patch today this morning. Unfortunately, we won't have Pike, of course, but we have a lot of changes coming in and changing a little bit the meta, especially in the bottom lane with the ADCs.
as a little bit of a disclaimer for the tournament, Pike will be disabled. Well, disabled in brackets. The players will not be able to pick him for another week until, of course, they are able to adjust to the champion. So that is 7 days from his release, which is today. But like Ryuma said, we have a ton of changes on items, on certain roles, and we're gonna have so many juicy things to talk about. First of all, let's focus a little bit on the changes for the ADCs and how this impacts the rest of the map. Because let's be honest, the ADC is one of the main roles of a team. You want it to be the carry, you want him to be the one that's going to output the most of the damage for the carries. And we've seen different strategies from different teams of different game types. We have the all in sort of teams that have the more protective ADC that can take care of themselves, like the Ezreal, like sort of like the Caitlyn. Back then, we had the Lucian as well in previous seasons. They can basically take care of themselves on the back line while your front line is super aggressive and very damage oriented. So not a lot of tanks, not a lot of beef lines. It's basically like a brawl, a 5v5 brawl, everyone for themselves, super damage output. But we also have the noodle fight sort of teams, which you get 2 to 3 tanks on every team, and then you have your AP damage dealer in the mid lane, which could be an AD damage dealer in the mid lane as well, and your typical ADC in the bot lane. So with these changes on the ADCs and the items, how do you think this is going to impact the game?
It changes a lot, especially in the bot lane, where to focus or what to pick, because uh, changes has been in a lot of things, but the most important thing is that the ADCs now have less AD, pushing that AD into scaling. They have less armor. That means that their sustainability into the bot lane, especially into the early game, it's not that good right now. So with less armor, they have more health growth, and less health regen. So
Mm-hmm.
in this way, these changes are translated into a severe lack of sustainability for marksmen, and at the same time, the road is open, as we say, to lane bullies such as Brand, Leona, to ensure new difficulties,
Zyra.
especially against, yes, of course, something that can poke from a distance, be a little bit safe, and poke piece by piece in order the ADC to choke down a little bit the ADC as fast as possible. So Zyra, as you said, we have a little bit of buff in here,
Mm-hmm.
especially with the roots durations. The roots now have spread a little bit more, have a more duration right there. We have adjusts on Talia and Kha'Zix. We have a little bit of a nerf into Rakan because Rakan is practically dominating the solo queue right now, so you need to
Yep.
be really careful what to do, how to use, especially the Rakan Zarya combo with the new Mastery Keystone. We will eventually go to this because the changes are too much. It's impossible to cover the whole changes right now, but for everyone who wants to dive a little bit deeper at it, you should check the detailed patch notes into the section of the client or into the Riot website. One point we should mention, especially, is that the changes into the turret gold, into the turret health, and of course, they even nerfed Baron, for example. Changes are too much. Too much. What do you
Let's
believe about
focus
the
a little bit.
jungle?
Let's focus a little bit first on the bot lane that you
Yes,
said a
and then
little
the
bit
jungle.
about it, and then we go straight to the jungle. Because, like we said, one role, especially the carry role, that is designated into the bot lane for the ADC is one of the most important things, as we said at the start of the game. So right now, you do get, well, my favorite lane bullies back, such as Jhin, such as Lucian, which Lucian is by far my favorite. And this actually enables a lot of different types of games, because if you want to play the Lucian game, if you remember very well from the SKT era, you used to have a Lulu in the mid lane or a Karma in the mid lane and a Lulu in the bot lane, two shield-oriented supports, two buff-oriented supports with movement speed, and you used to have, like, what we say, the dancing Lucian into the mid lane. But before, I'm sorry, of course, we get there, we have jumping into straight of the picks and bans. We do have the only game that we're going to have for today, which is a best of 3, which is between Rift Esports and Random 5. Rift Esports, of course, are going to be missing one of their bans due to one of their players being late, but we're going to go on from there. And of course, before we jump into the Rift, we're going to be talking about some changes here and there on the actual changes of the game, of the patch that we're playing today. Just to remind to everyone who's watching us as well, we are playing on live patch. So every single change that is going on right now in the live servers is happening in our tournament as well. So let's see what we have in the picks and bans.
We have Zoe from the side of Rift Esports and Camille, and Random 5 has answered yet with the Irelia. So, of course, Morgana follows. I was about to say that also from the side of Rift Esports and from the side of Random 5, of course, we will see bans that we do not see them that much, because with the shift of the meta, especially in the top lane, we have a little bit of changes in the bot lane. You need to ban something, as you said, something that is hot right now, because we will probably have some hot fixes with the new items landing on the Rift, because some of them are a little bit overpowered, especially with the critical and a lot of stuff like this
that has been also introduced to the scene. And of course, we had a talk, me and you, Ellen. You were like, Rakan is going to be so strong right now in the bot lane. And I replied to you and I said, oh, and Draven. And I replied to you and said, with the likes of a Camille in the game, I don't think Draven and Rakan have a chance. But of course, straight out of the bat, Camille banned from Rift and lock in first pick on the Rakan.
With the changes at the mastery system, you will see that the ultimate hat right now there's no longer doesn't exist anymore. So it has been changed with a new mastery that gives you more speed when you pop up your ultimate. So that's why Rakan is pretty much hot somehow, especially in the bot lane. And now Random 5 has to take Xayah, in my opinion, away, because the Xayah Rakan combo in the bot lane is pretty much smashing with the Hail of the Blades right now, the new Keystone Mastery that it's really good into Xayah.
Exactly. And actually, if they do give the Xayah away, I want to see something super aggressive. I want to see a Leona in the bot lane. I want to see a Zyra. A Zyra Ezreal would be an amazing composition. Also, a Leona Ezreal would be an amazing composition, because, again, with the new item, every time a champion casts their ultimate, they do get the buffs into the game. So Ezreal is one of these champions that will hide in a bush, cast the ultimate, and then jump in with the arcane shift. So that will give him the boost in the damage that he does need. And here you see, that's exactly what we talked about. We see the frontline ADC being put into action by Rift. Rift right now are running the Karma into the mid lane and the Rakan in the bot, or it could be the other way around, because we have seen a lot of Rakans in the mid lane right now, especially in the Korean solo queue. Rakan mid lane is one of the things that's like up there. So, on the other hand, exactly what I was expecting, something super aggressive that can stop Rakan straight in his tracks. We do see the Alistar locked in by Random 5. Two completely different team comps so far. But what Rift are playing around is the fact that they don't have an actual tank so far. So the Trundle could not be as useful as he would be if they do pick to get a really heavy mid-shield tank. But let's see, of course, what they're going to choose to go with, because we have just gone into the second rotation of the bans, and straight out of it, we see the Kindred, the Kindred buffs. So Kindred is out of the picture straight away. On was really strong in our previous day of the group stage, and of course, nothing really has changed to him. He's still as strong as he was, so he's out of the picture. And the Zinza, which we saw Rift having an absolute party with.
and they need really to be careful. They need to focus on taking something like a tank, for example, because the Rift Esports composition so far is really squishy. And on the other hand, you have a tank disable and a tank disabler, that's the Trundle, and you have a really, really tanky support, that's the Alistar, especially when he pops up the ultimate. So on the one side, we need to see the other carry, and we see Sion, and for the side of Rift Esports, we need tankiness, of course, if they want to survive into the first game of the best of 3.
Okay, so I think at the start we talked about the different types of gameplay it chooses to play with, and we said they're either going to go with that very aggressive sort of every man for themselves, leave your AD carry in the back line or have your AD carry in the front line with a lot of shields and supports and stuff, or we're going to see the more mid-shield kind of situation, which we see from Random 5 right now. They have 3 really strong tanks. And on the other side, we do see Rift, which I believe we're going to be seeing Kai'Sa in the front line a lot, especially with the Gamma shields and speed ups. And of course, we're going to have the taunts from the Rakan, the heals, the shields. Skarner can grab a target, get the Kai'Sa up there into the target and completely erase them. So I feel like the Skarner fits so perfectly here because you don't want to have an absolute mid-shield tank that just provides tankiness like the Mundo that we saw on Monday. You want to have somebody that has peak potential that could potentially get some QSSs out of your enemies, which delays the tankiness that they can build during the duration of the game right here. So I believe this is a beautiful, well-rounded composition by Rift. That is a very well-played picks and bans phase. But on the other hand, for Random 5, I do see the same as well. 2 completely different comps, but really well-rounded. As we say always, perfect on the paper.
You're it!
Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com.
Get your team apparel now at shop.eslgaming.com.
You ready? Huh? Hey, easy boy, huh? You ready? Huh?
Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com. Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com.
town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your souls. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. Feel like a dynamite, ready to explode right up in the sky. I need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your souls. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky.
Getting a lot of trade. Look at the position of the TT team. They are trying to siege both mid lane and bot lane at the same time. Ryze is walking, and now things are going in. The ultimate secures the kill right there for his team, and now Graves is the next into the menu for the Jin Zhao. Double kill right there for Dominant, and walks into the mid lane, and they will secure one more turret, and they go for the next Ryze. Flash away from the Ryze, trying to burst down. Graves almost have done it. Ornn is in the front line. Flashes away, forced to flash away. Now Rakan is flagging. Here comes the quickness. Nice knock-up, manages to flash away, but Tristana now dead. Sen is spreading through the back line. Here comes the top watch by the look at the massacre. The side of Graves right there. I was about to say that Cho'Gath trying to isolate from the experience totally Urgot, and now there comes three members of the BG. The Blastcon was away, taunted. Cho'Gath maybe has to flash away, flashes away, not enough. Yum 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 for the belly right there. And there is the next kill into the side of TT by there. Ram has no flash to get away, just knock out Shazir.
Yeah, this turret is definitely going
Here comes Ramus, Forgiven is on his own, trying to do as much damage as he can before the taunt. Here's the quickness, the knock-up will be followed by the taunt. A lot of damage to Forgiven, but not nearly enough. Here comes Severe. Forgiven knows that he has the damage. Here's the stun into the Rakan. One more kill for Forgiven, and now Azir comes in. Oh, this poor Severe right there. Turret probably, but they have to back away because Ornn is trying to flank right there. Here comes the ultimate from the Ornn in order to knock up around, and there is a big fight. Ornn is still alive. One member of the VG is down now. Kha'Zix trying to finish the second one. A third kill right there secured by the Morgana. One kill in return for Satanico. So far so good for the side of TT. The engage. Oh, the snipe for Forgiven. Ace for the side of TT.
Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com.
getting a lot.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to ESL Season 7 of the Southeast Europe Championship. And we have just gone into a very, very quick pause. Hopefully, it will be fixed very, very soon. Of course, I want to welcome with me Ryuma. My name is Troubling, and together we will be casting this, I hope, very, very action-packed best of 3 between Rift and Random 5. I don't think I hear Ryuma at all.
I'm not talking.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
I'm enjoying the silence of the pause. Just because I'm casting, there will be a pause. So I'm just enjoying it for now. It's really nice.
All right, so before we pause...
We never talked about the team compositions. You're right.
Exactly. Let's jump back into the team compositions and the 2 different styles these 2 teams want to be playing right now. On one side, like I said, we have the dancing ADC pretty much. You get the pick with the scanner, you unleash the Kai'Sa into the enemy team, and then pretty much you're good to go if you make that one pick. On the other hand, though, of course, we do have a Random 5 that have chosen one of the most famous compositions in League of Legends right now, which is this beefy 3-man tank composition. So, talk to me a little bit about both of them, and who do you think will sign more into the game?
I would like to start from the side of Random 5, because they have 2 key picks for me. The double tier Ezreal, that after the changes is high enough into the ladder if you want to pick it. It's really good. A lot of sustain, and it's difficult for your enemies to catch you and CC you and kill you. So that's a clever pick from the side of Random 5. Your security in the bottom lane is the most valuable thing. And of course, look at the Vladimir in the mid lane. We know that Vladimir has a lot of playmaking potential if there is a correct flank, if you want to take it. So it's really nice to see that kind of picks. On the other side, we have the Rakan with a lot of CC, a lot of distance that can cover in order to CC the enemies. We have the Karma that can speed up and shield up the whole team. And you have also Kai'Sa, that Kai'Sa, we have said a lot before, that does a lot of damage into neutral objectives. So it's a pick that you would like to use it, especially into a nerfed Baron, as we saw into this patch. So I think that it's 50-50 for both teams. Both teams has some key elements that can use against each other.
All right, then. I believe that the composition of a Rift right now fits more the mid to late game composition, the one that can output so much damage and literally penetrate the armor and the magic resist of the tanks. Well, not so much the magic resist, because I'm pretty sure the Karma here will be sort of like a joker item in the team. She will be the one that shields the Kai'Sa, that keeps her alive, that CCs the people that come anywhere near her, and of course is going to be the poke for her team. But on the other side, for Random 5, I see a very mid-game oriented team, because yes, you do have the Vladimir that deals a lot of magic damage, late game, but on the other hand, you have an Ezreal which peaks into the mid-game, and from his 4th item and 4th, he kind of falls off performance-wise, whilst the Kai'Sa, the more late game she goes, the even stronger she becomes, especially like we said with all these supports and shield composition around her. So I'm really interested to see how Random 5 wants to approach this game, because Rift does have a squishy enough team to be able to push further back towards the mid game, so Random 5 can close really early around the 30-minute mark. But I'm really scared for them if Rift are able to close the gap eventually and get even around the 30-minute mark. I do give the late game to Rift, because all the armor penetration from the Gangplank for the Kai'Sa, I think is going to be able to get the big mid shields down, like the Sion, like the Trundle, like the Alistar. Whilst in the mid game, I think I'm going to give the advantage to Random 5. And I was about to say, for a team that you want to be thriving in the mid game, you do usually want like a Mountain Drake, an Infernal Drake. This time it's not the case. We have the very early Ocean Drake, yeah.
And I was about to say that, of course, you're right in everything that you're mentioning, and in the bot lane especially, in terms of playmaking and protecting the ADC, it has a lot of things that you see, especially in the solo queue, that it's a support matchup, practically not that of the ADC matchup, because both ADCs need to scale. But with these kind of supports, Rakan and Alistar, it's which support will use his or her engage better in this situation, his engage better in order to create something in the map. And Karma is in the top lane with Skarner.
They have already started this roaming. We did say how important it is for Rift not to fall behind in the early game so they can thrive towards the late, but we said not to fall behind. If they pull ahead, it's even better for a team that needs time to scale and build items, I'm sorry. And of course, we do have the Gangplank in the top lane without Kleptomancy this time.
It's more of the sustain. It's not that you need that you have, you know that you have free poke against the Sion. And of course, Sion does a lot of damage, especially when shooting a minion into you, for example, with the damage with armor reduction. So Gangplank went for the sustain. I know they're not getting back again and again into the lane.
Very clever situation right there, I have to say, for the Gangplank, because they do know that they don't need to be fighting anywhere near the 30-minute mark. So he's okay not to grab the Kleptomancy. He would rather stay in lane and
investing
not die.
Right now.
Exactly, and sustain. So in the late game, eventually he will be able to have the items he actually needs, instead of getting the Kleptomancy and maybe risking dying super early and getting random 5 ahead that way. So I find this a very clever pick, though. On the other hand, what we didn't talk about is the use of Trundle and Subjugate on the only tank that Rift has. The second that this Skarner gets into random 5 and gets headbutt pulverized at that point and subjugated by the Trundle, he is very sensitive, let's say, into getting one shot in between the team of random 5.
Maybe Skarner will be one-shotted by the entire team if Trundle uses the subjugate in the correct timing.
There we go. We do see a lot of control from Rift in the jungle of random 5, though, which is the way you definitely want to be moving around a mid-game oriented team. You want to know exactly where they are. You need to not get ganked. At that point, the bot lane of random 5 has kind of like thought, wait a second, we haven't seen Skarner so long, he should be somewhere on the map. They did find him. That gives the absolute freedom to Sire to be able to bully that Gangplank in lane.
Not that much of an action in the early game. Both teams are cautious. And especially if you are Skarner, it's really difficult to gank the bot lane with because with a headbutt, you are away. With an arcane shift of the Ezreal escape. So it's really difficult to gank this lane. It must be perfect, especially from your support, from Rakan's side. So that's why we don't see Skarner not that much in the bot lane, but he focuses more into controlling and trying to do something, maybe in the top lane or maybe in the mid lane. But even though in the mid lane, it's also difficult because Karma doesn't have that much damage, especially in the early game.
And of course,
so there is only one lane to gank, and it's top.
And
your top laner is pushing.
It could be a level 6 tower dive in the bot lane, as well, for the side of Rift. They do have the Kama, they can pull her down there, as you see right now. But I was gonna say, maybe after level 6, a random 5 wanna do it right now. They have gotten right there, ignite onto the Rakana. He is gonna go down, but on the other hand, we have the Kama trading the Ezreal right there, and it's a 2-for-1 in the favor of Rift, and one cancel teleport for the Vladimir right there. I will say that random 5 did not think very much ahead. The Karma was nowhere to be seen on the map. Yes, they did have the Vladimir teleport, but it didn't come out super quickly to be able to threaten anything, to be there the second Karma was there. The Ezreal, of course, with no defensive summoner other than a flash, which he actually used. He could not get away from the Mantra Q from the Karma. And here we have the 2-1 trade in the favor of Rift. Great stuff for them, and unlucky situation from Random 5 to not think that the Karma could be roaming very early. Here we have, though, a tower dive into the top lane. The Karma is teleporting, trying to save the Gangplank. Flash away from the Gangplank. The Trundle is still underneath the tower, but the Karma switched out for a little bit. 1Q might do it, and he is going to be going down to the Karma. That Gangplank is going to stay alive into the top lane. Another roam from the Karma that not just gives her an assist, it gives her her second kill of the game. But they have got the Kai'Sa into the bot lane. That root will land on her, but the Ezreal is way too low to be able to dive that tower. And the Alistar overstays his welcome underneath the tower.
Level 5 Alistar.
And it is a level 5 Alistar that just got caught in between a rock and a hard place, as we call it. Now they have got the Vladimir into the mid lane. The knockup from the Rakan is going to land. The Vladimir is trying to run away. Remember, the Ezreal cannot assist him right now. The Ignite is going to go down from the Rakan bull to save his life for a tiny bit. The Trundle is there to maybe save him, and he is going to be safe for now. Trusha Barrage is going to miss the Rakan for just a centimeter right there. And the action has started super early, but not from the side we were expecting it to.
Rift Esports with the two different situations, they underlined the phrase that mentions that they are both proactive and reactive, because the play they did in the bot lane with the 4-man, the presence of 4 men in the bot lane and the ultimate from the side of Gangplank was a really nice play. It was 1-for-2 trade, and the risky play in the top lane by the Trundle and the Sion backfired with an excellent teleport from Kubu. So they are both proactive and reactive, in my opinion, and they are totally controlling the game right now, even though the difference in the gold is nearly 1k.
The Dragon has been started right now. It is an Ocean Drake, so Rift are not going to care too much. The Skarner has pinged the Rift Herald right here, which it is a very fair trade if they manage to take this one out of the map. And we do see the Karma not going for the Banner of Command. And as you see, the Sion is not really going towards there either. Banner of Command had its own nerfs to it. It's no longer immune to spells. It is just on a 70%. And as I say that, a 2v2 in the bot lane comes out with the Kai'Sa, a winner there. The Ezreal is going to go down. The bite is going to go down on the Kai'Sa, though, and he is going to be falling to the Trundle, and Rakan might be in the same fate right there, but he's going to fall to the Alistar. That was a 3v2 that Rift managed to come out losers from, with a 2-in-1 trade in the favor of Random 5 this time. Beautiful stuff right there.
Stepping a little bit too forward for an ADC there have used the arcane shift, and now is in trouble.
Gonna try to get the Vladimir. The pull right there is not gonna save him because the root just landed, but do they have enough damage with the Karma to get him down? The answer is no. He's gonna be able to sustain, and that's exactly what you said, that even if they do manage to somehow catch the Vladimir, the Karma has nowhere near enough damage yet to be able to kill him. And I don't think that at any point in the game, a Skarner and a Karma can kill a Vladimir. But saying that, they have got the Trundle in the middle of the jungle. The Predator has been popped from the Vladimir, and they have caught him in between 3 people of Rift. Is he going to be able to survive this time? No. Killing spree for the mid laner of Rift Esports, and a 3-0 on a super protective Karma that's going to be able to build so much AP and sustainability with her mana super early in the game. But they have left the Kai'Sa unattended in the bot lane. There's no ultimate on the Alistar yet, but there's a Trusha Barrage on the Ezreal. Rampage on the other side of the map. They have got the Trundle as well. 4-0 for the Karma.
A lot of mistakes by the side of Random 5, and especially into position.
Vladimir is coming into his own jungle right now, and the Karma and the Skarner are in trouble. Karma is actually going to be able to get away. Skarner
Both
is
of them.
towards his top laner, and they are actually going... How in the world do they both get away with literally 5% HP? But we do have the engage into the bot, and the sun is going to land onto the Ezreal. The taunt, and the ignite is burning him away. They're trying to protect Kai'Sa right there. And
nicely played by the Alistar.
Maybe that was a mistake right there. The Rakan literally stopped chasing the Ezreal. I have the feeling that he could maybe be able to get the kill right there, but he, of course, decided to stay with his ADC and keep him safe and potentially get the first tower of the game right here, which is going to be the case. Solo gold will be given to the Kai'Sa, if anyone, and apparently it's not. Blue buff gonna be given to the Karma, and let's see where Random 5 choose to take it from here, because they are 7-3 in kills behind and 4k gold as well behind. 30 minutes in, 4k gold is a bit of a disadvantage, assuming that their team is a mid-game.
Karma needs to be careful.
Karma needs to be careful because the Alistar has already started roaming with his mobility boots. It's not going to be the case because, like we said at the start, she clears wave super fast to be able to get dived at that point, and she's going to tip you back into her lane.
When you have Trundle into your team and you have an Alistar into your team, you always threaten the dive. It's like a strategy that you need to do in order to try and make the enemy team be a little bit more careful, because with the Alistar you can dive, with the Trundle and the sustain from his ultimate you can dive, so it's practically a warning for the enemy team.
There is playing with fire, because what they don't know is that the Trundle is right there. Beautiful shield right there for the Rakan to be able to get away, and they want to turn it around. They are so lonely up there. Just a 3v2 trying with the Kai'Sa and the Rakan. The Ignite is not yet up. The Gangplank ultimate will come to their aid, but the Kai'Sa is going to be going down to the enemy ADC. The Sion has just arrived, so has the Gangplank, but the Rakan is going to be going down. Double kill for the side of Random 5 for their ADC. Predator going to be popped for the Vladimir. The ultimate is going to be going down. Stuff for Rift right there. Beautiful things for Random 5 to come. They have got the Karma as well. Shut down for the mid lane of Random 5, and that was a beautiful move from Random 5 to be able to turn this around, and a questionable move from Rift to try and take this 2v3 in the top lane.
More the second than the first, in my opinion. Random 5 reacted, tried to make a pick. I don't know why Rift thought that they had the power, the manpower and the damage, of course, to burst down Trundle, Alistar or Ezreal. Trundle almost died into this fight, but when Vladimir arrived and when Sion arrived, the team fight was over. So it was more like a miscalculation of the situation there by Rift Esports rather than a good pick from Random 5.
A bit of a miscalculation, as you mentioned as well. The Kai'Sa dived way too deep to try and get the Ezreal, and of course it was a 3v1 onto the Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa ends up going down, so the rest of the Rift choose to run away, but it was too late. Flanked from the Vladimir, a shutdown and 3 kills right there, but they have caught the Trundle into his own jungle right there. A smite to try and keep himself alive is not going to be enough, and he goes down to his enemy jungler. Now they do want to cut the Vladimir as well. The root might be going down. It's not, because they're going to choose to get out of there as the Alistar was threatening to get closer.
A messy game for both of these teams.
Pulverize right there is going to miss onto the Rakan, but I think the Alistar is pretty safe right there with his Ezreal. Of course, Iceborne Gauntlet has been completed from the Ezreal, so it is very annoying for any champion to try and get close to him due to the slow. And we haven't talked really much about the CS or anything, because look at it. Look how even right now CSing is throughout every lane except jungle.
It's a logical one, if you ask for my opinion, because Garner out-jungle Trundle from the start of the game.
Oh,
now you see 3 people in the bot lane.
Into the bot lane. The Gangplank is in trouble. I don't think he has anyone to aid him. No teleports available in Rift, so he's going to be going down. The answer is to who? And it is going to be that Vladimir from Random 5. Instant teleport from the Ezreal into the mid lane to save their tower. And really good stuff right there from Random 5. They're picking up pace. They know what they need to do. They need to thrive around the 30-minute mark. And they have just started pressing down the gas button. And they are going forward into this game. Unfortunately, though, for a mid-game oriented team, yet another awesome Drake. Nevertheless, it is a Drake. They're gonna take it, and they are up 2 Drakes to Rift's 0.
If you want a seed, it's the perfect Drake you need to take. Because after a little bit staying out of combat, you just take the regeneration, the mana, the health regeneration that you need in order to keep sieging. They don't have that kind of a combination there, but they can siege, and in the most cases, they can threaten a dive with this composition, not just a siege.
Kai'Sa again has been left into the bot lane all alone. And there's no sign on the map yet of the Sion. They have, of course, spotted the Trundle right there with a very clever ward at the back of his red side jungle. Blue buff will be given to the Karma now. It was a little bit late. We lost eye of sight with the line of sight, I'm sorry, with the blue buff right there, but she managed to get it nevertheless, and the siege starts once more for Rift. They do have their eye on that middle tower, but the Alistar is threatening the engage, and here it is, a double knockup on the Rakan and the Kai'Sa, and it's gonna be disengaged straight away. The tower still stands, but it's really low, so it could be the next hit from Rift.
They need to be careful, especially about the flanks that Sion and Vladimir can provide to their team fight composition. So the best thing that they can do is to try to pressure the lanes, control the waves into the side lanes, try to push, and then try to siege into something specific like the mid lane turret.
That's exactly it. And we do see that they still have their eyes onto the mid lane. Crucial Barrage is going to be used from the Ezreal to try and clean the wave completely. So Rift have to take a break right here. They have to go back to base, rinse and repeat. Great interrupt right there from the Vladimir. I mean, you can't really port in his face, pretty much, and expect him not to interrupt you. Let's see where these teams put their focus now. We can see that from the Rift, their focus is on the Rift Herald. On the Rift Gatla. And the Baron has now just come live. I don't see any of the two teams going for a very quick...
Not enough firepower.
Exactly. They don't have enough of that AD power or the very bursty, consistent damage of the likes of a Cassiopeia or a Malzahar into the mid lane. So I think the Baron is going to have to wait up to a point where you do have enough people's advantage to be able to go towards the pit without being threatened to get wiped out. But yet again, Rift want that mid lane tower. It is the easiest objective right now for them on the map.
And they need to take it down in order to open the map and make some plays, put some deep wards into the enemy jungle in order to control the Dragon Pit a little bit better and the Baron Pit a little bit better with some deep wards, because you know that you don't have the firepower to burst down the big objective, such as the Baron, but you always can threaten to start it. You can always bait something and take something from the enemy, because in the side of Random 5 there are 2 teleports, and the same thing is for the Rift Esports, but it's a fight about the vision control around the biggest objective in the game.
There we go, another tower going down. And this time it's going to be the first tower for Random 5. 2 for Rift, 1 for Random 5. And it's a 21-minute mark. Second tier just bought from the Ezreal. A little bit late for a mid-game oriented composition. But the Alistar engage. And the Sion is going to be trying to get that Skarner into the...
Vladimir is coming in hard.
It's a 4-man ultimate from the Vladimir. That was huge. They could be going down from the side of Rift, but it's only the Rakan so far. The Skarner has to flash away. And that flank from the Vladimir was beautiful right there. Flash used, of course, but it was worth it. Another tower gonna go down in the meantime, though, by Rift. And now Random 5 have gone forward to take that mid lane tower. Nobody can get anywhere near. That Sion is huge. The root is going to land on him, but the Alistar is going to engage. Remember, he does have the ultimate. He has popped.
Sion is dead. Alistar is dead.
He's gonna go down. And the Vladimir, though, at the same time. And they have lost 3 from Random 5. And we saw this on Monday, where the teams did not have the eye completely on the objectives, and half of their team was focused on the tower right here for Random 5, and the other half was focusing on getting the kills. As you saw, of course, neither the tower went down, and neither did they manage to get kills because their focus was completely split between two things.
Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. I would like to mention also that the scanner is a little bit obsessed with the crabs all over the map, securing, if I'm not mistaken, at least 60% of them for now. But it's exactly how you said it. Team needs to have one focus. Sion
got the
dive
Alistar into the river, and he doesn't have the ultimate, but he is going to be able to get away from there. I think he might have just used the flash to get away, because I'm seeing his Hex Flash just loading right now, so he had to flash away to not get caught, because there was no ultimate available for him at that point.
And we see in the bot lane that the Sion has a little bit of problem against the Gangplank, because Gangplank is scaling and Sion has no damage so far. It's pure tank. If you see the items, we have the Frozen Heart. He's going for the AP resistance item, maybe the Helm, and then a Thornmail if we see the vest.
The Kai'Sa has just engaged the Ezreal all on her own in the mid lane, forcing the flash out of
True power.
5's ADC. That is indeed true power, and the skill shot right there is going to land. Nobody was there to block it for Random 5, so he is in the end going to go down to that Kai'Sa, and now they have got them in between a rock and a hard place. The taunt from Rakan is going to land onto the Trundle first, that he is going to be going down, and now they have got the Sion onto the wall. Double kill for that Karma with a death cap completed, sitting on 7, 1, and 3 right now.
A lot of mistakes in position for the side of Random 5.
Does want the Vladimir as well. Let's see if the pool is going to be able to save him, but no, they chained the CC perfectly. No time for reaction for the Vladimir, and I think now they have their sights.
It's a free Baron.
That Baron.
It's a free Baron, and there are a lot of mistakes.
Trusha Bara still available. It's coming now. Is it going to be
the Bulgarian sniper? No.
It is going to
way
be
too early.
Well, it wasn't that clean. I was about to say it was going to be a clean Baron for Rift, but in the end it's left with about 50 HP, and the Kai'Sa ends up getting the last kill right there onto the Baron. That could mean also that the Trusha Baras, if it was very well timed, it could steal the Baron right there. All it takes is one mistimed smite.
Longshot, as we were saying though, we see wrong position from the side of Random 5 into the Ezreal. Ezreal gets caught, sniped, dead. Then Sion and Trundle trying to flank and get flanked by Gangplank and the rest of the Rift team. And then Vladimir walking up into 4 people, delivering a free Baron to the hands of Rift Esports. And now they need something more in order to return back into the game. I was about to say that they need a miracle, but we know that Rift does also do a lot of mistakes, especially when they are up front.
Exactly, we have seen mispositions and mistimed engages, let's say, but right now they are sitting on about 8k ahead, 26 minutes into the game, where we said Random 5, they should have been the one being 8k ahead at this point of the game. So let's see how Rift is going to use their advantage. Of course, there has to be
They have
no
Karma
mistake.
pushing in the mid lane.
Karma pushing into the mid lane right now.
And
they
look at
are
the
going
wave
to
at the
get
top lane.
4th tower of the game, and now they have their sights onto, like I said, the top tower, which there is a huge wave stacked up for them.
That's the wave manipulation we were saying before. As a Rift, the one thing that you needed to do was to control the waves into the side lanes, trying to take one objective after another, and now they can fight because they have the Baron and the wave is huge.
Ultimate straight onto the wall, and he is going to pay for that missed ultimate. Beautiful Vladimir ultimate though to land on 4 people from Rift. The Alistar is going really low. Zombie Sion is going to go down, but who else is it? It's going to be the Vladimir. It is going to be the Alistar. It is going to be the Ezreal as well. We have a quadra kill, Kai'Sa right here. And the Trundle is running for his fountain. Kai'Sa not able to complete that pentakill also. Although we would like to see a pentakill as well. First Nexus Tower is going to go down. Second Nexus Tower is on the eyes of Reef. They're trying to get the pentakill for the Kai'Sa, but in the meantime, both the Kai'Sa and the Karma are going to go down. Second Nexus Tower going down, and it is going to be the Trundle. Might be going down now. No, he is not going to go down to this
Can
part.
they stop them?
Can they stop them? Maybe. It's only a few hits. One more is all it's gonna take. A good game well played to Reef for taking that best of 3 on a 1-0 lead.
huh? April, easy boy, huh? You ready? Huh?
Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, with ESL Season 7 of the Southeast Europe Championship. I'm Jonathan Trabalik-Parasner here with Costa Rimasropoulos to bring you the second game in just a little bit of the one best of three that we have today between Rift Esports and Random 5. So, let's sum up a little bit what happened in the previous game.
Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
I want you to start.
Okay. As I was saying, just before the game ends, Rift Esports did everything right after they took the advantage of the game. They managed to hold the side lanes where they wanted to be. They capitalized into punishing the positioning of the enemies, especially with the Ezreal solo killed, being solo killed by the Kai'Sa in the mid lane. So they forced these skirmishes, these kind of fights. They controlled the objective. They took a free Baron and they managed to push with this Baron buff because they controlled the side lane. So Random 5 could do nothing because they needed a lot of time to scale, because you need Ezreal to scale, you need the Vladimir to scale in order to going into a 1v5 fight. Try to do something like harassing the enemies or a lot of stuff that kind of flanking Vladimir do. But I'm pretty excited to see what Random 5 can bring back into the pick and ban phase of Game 2, because we saw that if you have a strong bot lane, the Skarner controlled the jungle from the start of the game, trying to push away Trundle. We saw the difference into the CS, as you mentioned. So they need something that has a bit more impact into the early game. But with Graves and Xin Zhao banned as the last pick and ban phase, with the Kha'Zix a bit adjusted and kind of nerfed into this patch, you need to bring something else.
I would find Kha'Zix quite a lot nerfed, because it wasn't the burst that makes him really strong. Like, even a Shaco could have the exact same burst with a Duskblade, with a Red Smite, as Xin Zhao has the same burst, the Graves have the same burst. I think the thing that made Kha'Zix unique is the fact that with his passive, he could pretty much jump Brass Hop the whole map while being unseen, pretty much, as long as there was no ward to see him coming in. But I think that's what made him so unique and so dangerous. But right now, with this object taken away from his whole kit, I find him very vulnerable to counter ganks. And saying that, we are about to just jump into the picks and bans phase as well. I will agree with you on the previous game from the perspective that you said that the Vladimir has a lot of flanking potential, and in the end, we kind of saw that he was trying really hard to get his team ahead. He was having some beautiful fights, but the AD carry... Exactly, but the AD carry scaling difference was just not there for Random 5. The Ezreal is not as good as the Kai'Sa late game. He picks up 3 items. The Kai'Sa was able to build 3 items before he was, so it was a complete different story right there. And as we see, Random 5 going in with the same bans, except of course the Karma, that's a new ban for them. Karma, Camille banned from Random 5, and Zoe and Camille, both the teams are staying stable with their first rotation of bans.
There are some picks as now meta shifting a little bit after the changes in the patch, there are some picks that need to be removed from the game in order to have an impact as a composition that you pick after the pick and ban phase going into the game. So you need some picks such as Graves that can practically one-shot someone, with the Camille that can make a lot of impact, especially with the Hextech ultimatum. You need the Zoe out because can dominate the mid lane, and also Roam. So it's pretty much a strategy behind the banking of both these teams. And Random 5 now gonna pick Kai'Sa.
Exactly, for themselves. I'm going to be honest with you. I can't wait to see what this tournament brings, especially with all the new changes. Of course, the teams we are playing on live, ladies and gentlemen. So of course, the teams have not had the most of time to practice.
Time? No time, maybe.
No time at all to practice with the new patch, of course. So I'm pretty sure we're going to see adjustments. We might even see the Zyras that I'm dying to see. We might see the Lucians. But so far,
maybe Victor in the mid lane.
Oh, definitely maybe Victor, because he has been given the tools to come back yet again. And he's a very consistent, wave clear, high damage impact mid laner. Rift Esports, though, on the other hand, will pick the Varus and they will snatch away the Trundle from Random 5.
Trundle is an interesting pick because has a lot of potential.
Oh.
It's a listen lock-in?
It's not locked in yet. But I hope it will get.
No, it's the event.
Aww.
Are they teasing us? Somehow?
I think they're playing with me because they know how much I love these kinds of picks. And Nocturne is not
It's a Lee Sin.
And it is going to be the Lee Sin. He is playing with us a little bit, but in the end, he is going to give it to us. We are going to see the Lee Sin coming out of Random 5, and of course the purple bot lane with the Kai'Sa Morgana, which is really unstoppable. Once you give the Kai'Sa that black shield and she dives into the back line of your team, it can get super dangerous. But on the other hand, the Soraka is going to get locked in, and we have seen how strong the Soraka with the burn, with the max E is right now. Again, another Korean find that has been going on around, and against any spellcaster in the bot lane, Soraka pretty much wins every matchup.
Yes and no. You know what? The bot lane of Rift Esports is a big risk. Because Soraka is kinda immobile, especially in the early game. Varus is immobile, especially in the early game. And you are against the Lee Sin that can bring an impact into the early game. Especially if you are out of position, for example. Because a bind from Morgana into Soraka and maybe a Lee Sin around means death for Soraka. So, Rift Esports now need protection.
I want to see a Taliyah right here from Rift Esports. Something that can protect, like you said, the bot lane from potential ganks. You see the Lee Sin bot lane jump down with the Taliyah down there. Talking about the Taliyah, though, of course, they have to see the wave clear of Random 5's mid lane, because Taliyah has been hit and reduced her wave clear today with the new patch. The Q no longer does AoE damage, it's single target damage, but it is buffed because when you walk onto marked terrain, then your Q is only costs 1 mana, which means you can use it over and over and over again on cooldown without losing any mana. Of course, that needs practice as well. It's not like the old Taliyah. You need to know exactly how to play her. And the Ryze Shen are locked in, the last 2 picks from Random 5. And it is going to be yet again the Gangplank. So we do see the Cyan mid lane.
Nice.
That was very that was very out there for you. It was like, nice. I like
yes,
this
because
one.
I'm thinking I will comment after the commercial break, maybe. I'm still thinking.
ESL Southeast European Championship.
gotta be honest though. I mean, at this point, it is a chance for Sinners to get.
How has he been able to just shift through like that? He's not going to go.
Oh!
He will maybe another 8 on the.
Oh, man.
4 kills, 1 player left.
Oh.
And he the 8.
Here comes the Bane with the double kill, and here comes the follow-up, and Jack is waiting to follow up there, and we see the triple kill come out and taking down Poppy, and they are continuing to push this one. You are going to want to get out of there. You don't want to be doubting that one. There comes the Quadra. Are we going to see the Penta?
Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com.
Get your team apparel now at shop.eslgaming.com.
Coming like a Hellcat. Coming like a Hellcat.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to ESL Season 7 of the Southeast Europe Championship. I'm Jojo Darbulik Paras, who else? And I'm here with Kostari Mosaropoulos to bring you our second game very soon of that best of 3. So, we just had our second draft, and I want a few words from you because we saw teams kind of like picking each other's like a few pieces of their composition and putting them into a different type of composition on both ends.
You know, both teams have a different focus, because Rift Esports are focusing more on the lanes and what their laners can do. If you take each lane by itself, on the other side, Random 5 trying to build a composition for team fighting in both those drafts, because you see that Rift Esports into these drafts pick up Sion for the mid lane. That means sustain. That means pushing against the enemy laner. Of course, protection and a getaway if the things go a little bit messy. And if you go up and down into the Riven, you can also gank the bot lane or gank the top lane. So in the one side, at one side, it's this one, because you have the GP in the top lane, you have the Sion, you have a pretty strong jungler such as Trundle, a tank disabler, and of course you have a decent bot lane with a lot of sustain, a little bit of a risk, as we said, because Soraka can be caught easily. Also, Varus could be caught easily if he's not level 6. But it offers a lot of sustain. On the other side,
talk to me about random 5. I'm dying to know about the Lee Sin.
You know, Lee Sin is also a risk, especially against Trundle, because Trundle is a pick that cannot be punished that easily from a Lee Sin into the early game. And of course, Lee Sin is not that strong anymore as it was before. So I think that Lee Sin will be focusing in the bot lane and in the top lane. So it's kind of how we should say that it's a risk. It's practically a risk.
It's a risk, and of course, don't forget that you told me when you have such an immobile bot lane such as Varus Soraka, and you're against the Kai'Sa, Morgana, and
Morgana is a real threat.
Exactly, and the Lee Sin who could potentially just get in there. And what I wanted to focus mainly on is that one bind lands, especially onto the Soraka, because sure, if it lands on the Varus, you can throw down the silence, you can start chucking heals right and left, you will get that member back up in health.
Practically,
yeah, exactly.
You can feel.
But if it lands on Soraka, and obviously these guys are professional players, they do know who to focus. So again, if it does land on Soraka, then we have a problem, especially if the Lee Sin kicks in as well. See what I did there? Kicks in as well. So, so yeah, I think Random 5 do have potential to turn this around. We have jumped into the Rift right now, but of course we're going to take a little bit of the guys are having a little bit of a pause right there, maybe getting some refreshments or having technical difficulty, which is going to be
or maybe settings
soon
again.
Exactly, or the settings. So we are going to jump into the Rift slowly but surely. Talk to me about the top lane matchup, because we haven't seen a Shen in quite a while, I would say.
First of all, we must take a look at the mastery that GP runs. It's the same as the last game. It's not kleptomancy. So again, a GP is investing into sustain.
Mm-hmm.
So from the other side, we have Sen. That Sen is kind of countering the free poke of GP with the W. If you play it correctly, you can take less damage or no damage from random Q, for example, into the lane. And of course, you have a lot of potential into making something on the map, making a play on the map, because you have two globals. One is the Stun United by Sen, the other is the teleport. And we see that the Random 5 team has two teleports. The one is on Kai'Sa and the other is on Sen. On the other side, we have the Sion teleport and the GP teleport. So that means that the Rift bot lane is again standard with the heal. And then Ignite in Soraka. What's your opinion on the Ignite in Soraka? It's tasteless. It's tasteless style, or
it's the tasteless special, I would say. We see Koreans getting that Soraka out, Chinese getting that Soraka out with the barrier, keeping her as safe as possible so she can be able to check down the skills. This is like, I don't care about all that stuff. I'm here for the kills, boys. I might be playing the Soraka, but I'm gonna max my E. Put down the burn from put down the burn from the mastery tree, max my E, hit them with that airy, pop down the ignite, and get all the kills for my team. I don't care about the Varus. I'm here for the fun, you know. So I would say this is the tasteless special, but on the other side, I'm giving props to Tasteless for picking the ignite and being basically very straightforward with his intentions of the game, but a barrier does protect a very squishy support, and I myself have been a big fan of the person who decided to pick on squishy support's barrier instead of a second defensive heal for their ADC. There are a lot of ADCs who can hold their own right now. We have seen the teleports on a lot of supports. On a lot of AD carries. So that means that they do no longer need the support of a defensive summoner. This is why they opt better for that teleport. Saying that though, a heal ignite bot lane does come above a teleport ignite bot lane. Essentially, that bot lane is down a summoner, so it could be a very good target for the Trundle to get into. I don't think Trundle can focus into the mid lane. Ryze is not very easily to be killed, especially when you're against two tanks. Top lane could be a very good time for both these junglers to get a few kills, especially if you get the Gangplank behind. Again, he's going for the more sustain build, no Kleptomancy on him yet. So again, I would see that the Varus Soraka lane would be pushing constantly the bot lane, which of course opens the window for the Lee Sin to come in.
If Lee Sin can survive the early game trying to farm these camps,
he does seem to be having a little difficulty right there.
of course, and we have a little bit of trade in the top lane. You see how Sen is controlling, after the taunt, is controlling the wave, trying to somehow a little bit freeze the lane, and also poke the Gangplank as much as possible. And of course, in the mid lane, Ryze has an ignite.
We haven't
I
seen
was
Ryze
expecting
ignite in a long time.
Yes, but I was expecting a teleport, just to be honest, in the mid lane, because I also was expecting the Sion to run the teleport, so maybe a teleport Ryze could answer the teleports of the Sion and also control a little bit more the mid lane, try to push early, grab a tier, come back again, you know, something like this. But now it will lose a lot of time to go back and come back into the lane with Ignite.
That could tell us a lot about the intentions of the Ryze. It could be that you want the Lee Sin very early into your lane, kill the Sion with that Ignite down. It is more than possible with the AP damage of the Ryze and the AD early burst from the Lee Sin, of course, with the red buff and everything. So, but right now, we have seen that the Sion is a great lane pusher. And when you don't run that teleport, whichever lane he's in, if you're against him, you are bound to lose a couple of CS getting back into your lane while he's still there, he's still pushing, he's gonna push, he's gonna back, he's gonna TP back in it, and then you're gonna be sitting there without mana underneath your tower, trying to scrap whatever CS you can. And this is exactly the situation right now with Ryze. You see that he's already behind in CS. The pillar right there wasn't as the Trundle expected to go and get his attention, give his attention a little bit into the
first visit of the Lee Sin
Now
in
we
the
have
mid
the
lane.
Ignite and the Lee Sin in the mid lane. Exactly what we said. Get that aggression from the Lee Sin Ignite burn, but the Ryze had no more mana to be able to chase. Hopefully get a kill by popping his flash. So random 5, down a summoner. They did get the flash out of the Sion though.
And also Sion come back very easily. Now Kai'Sa almost gets
right
past him.
there from the Varus, but you do see the comeback straight away from a Varus Soraka lane. And of course you have to flash straight away because that Soraka is holding the Ignite.
And there is no heal. There is no heal for the side of random 5, so they maybe can do something. Now Trundle is caught by the Ryze. Here comes the teleport in the mid lane, and now Trundle is running for his life.
Trundle will
Pinking like a maniac. The Ryze was pinking like a maniac.
Away right there, and he was like, "Here, guys, here." The Trundle is trying to get away. They have got the Soraka. The Ignite is going to be going down. First blood, double kill for the bot lane of Rift, and oh my god, I'm having deja vu. One double kill super early in the game again. For the ADC of Rift. Beautiful stuff right there. And we did say again, a heal Ignite bot lane has advantage over a teleport Ignite bot lane. And look at that. The teleport is right now down, which means that the Kai'Sa cannot get into lane, get the CS advantage, and push the wave underneath Rift's tower. So that trade was beautifully done right there by Rift, and they're not going to lose any of their CS.
I'm not sure if it was random 5's mistake because Trundle gets caught in the jungle, but the random 5's bot lane is a little bit low and under the turret, so they should just ignore the Ryze painting the Trundle and try to stay and survive maybe under the turret, but they misstepped going for the Trundle. Varus found them, also Soraka found them, and you have 2 kills into the Varus. That Varus now is huge with the pickaxe and practically have completed Rage Blade into 6 minutes.
Exactly. The bind right there from Morgana is not gonna land, but that Soraka can heal for days right there. And look at that arrow taking 20% of Morgana's HP, and the hurt is gonna continue. And look at that, 4 pink wards in the inventory of Rift versus
They need to invest versus
from
Lee Sin.
Exactly. That Lee Sin, which so far has paid a visit into the mid lane, but nothing came out of it other than a Sion flash. And right now he's heading towards the bot lane. Lane is not warded yet, so we could potentially be seeing something. Remember, that Lee Sin
It's really difficult.
is still level 6. And the bot lane could potentially be ready. The Q is going to land right now, though, and I don't think Soraka can heal all of this damage. So the first kill goes there for Kai'Sa, and the Morgana flash is not going to get the bind, but it is going to push the Soraka back. The Lee Sin could be going around for a potential tower dive. Think we're going to go down to spot the Lee Sin, though, and Soraka is going to be staying safe for now because Ryze is making his way towards the bot lane as well.
And Sen needs a lot of help in the top lane.
Oh,
And
here
now
it
Brandon's
is. That
going
is a
up.
4-man dive. Oh, poor Soraka, which is no longer to be. Kai'Sa's going to be claiming her second kill of the game. But the Shen is going to flash away the last second, but going down to the red buff, if I'm not wrong, of the Trundle. Or it could be some sort of minion damage, but he is going to go down to the Trundle. And they are going to be exchanging kills. Oh my god, that arrow almost gets a double kill in the bot lane. Varus ultimate going to land, and the Sion is coming in hot with the ultimate. Is he going to be able to get any kill though? Shen ultimate perfectly timed to save the Lee Sin right there, but not the Morgana. The Varus is trying to fight on the backline, but he is going to be going down to the Ryze. Double kill for the Sion so far. 2 members down for random 5. And this is where the Sion is going to pull back and say, all right, you took the tower, we got 2 kills.
And the tower in the top lane.
Exactly, and a tower into the top lane. So it is pretty much a fair trade plus Rift get the 2 kills.
A fair trade, and Lee Sin just decided that, you know what, Morgana, you're gonna be the sacrificial lamb. And just kick Sion into a 10 HP Morgana. So I'm out, okay, bye.
He's like, I'll get the Shen ult, I'll kick him towards you, you have to die, I'm sorry, it's just for the team, right? Somebody has to die for the team, every time. And that usually is the support, unfortunately, as well. Here we have the lane swap, both of the bot lanes have moved their ways toward the top. Soraka has paid a visit into the mid lane just to annoy a little bit the Ryze a bit further, let's say. Look at all those deep wards in the top quadrant of Lee Sin's jungle, saying that though 3 men of random 5 are going towards that Sion into the mid lane, who is very tanky at this point, even without a single item. Super tanky. Look how much damage he's able to put onto that Ryze.
Sion is like the quote he uses. I feel no pain. Look at this.
Well, he will feel the pain right now because 3 members of random 5 are pounding on him, and the kill is going to be going onto Morgana, unfortunately, for random 5, since there were 3 members right there.
It was justice. That was justice.
They have
you know, you let me
well.
die in the bot lane.
They can continue. 3 members from that Ryze ultimate to get that Soraka kill. And I was just about to say, let's see if they're going to follow up. They're like, are we going to follow up? No, we're going to bring the whole team onto that Soraka, who's been annoying us in that bot lane. And the gold and the kills are dead even 10 minutes into the game.
Random 5 capitalized on some mistakes for the side of Rift, and the game is dead even again as we are starting from 0. And there is also a Dragon and a Rift Herald. The Rift Herald has been pinged by the Rift squad, and they're there. They found Lee Sin there trying to do something. They maybe take the objective, not just chase the Lee Sin.
Shen ultimate and TP are available. The TP from Kai'Sa is being casted right now into the mid lane. But the Rise is going to choose to back off, go back, reset,
Herald
most likely
secured.
buy his Rod of Ages right there, which, yes, he's going to be completing right now, and get back to farming, because this random 5 squad, they have the Lee Sin, which is more of a mid-game oriented champion, and then after the mid-game, he's just a kick. He's there for that one instant kick that can win you the game, pretty much nothing else, and maybe just a tiny shield on the Kai'Sa. But the Kai'Sa and the Rise are super late game oriented champions that can put out a lot of damage. And of course, don't forget, all the damage that's coming out of Rift is AD damage from the Gangplank and the Varus. So all Random 5 has to do is pretty much build armor, and they're going to be fine.
And a way of thinking. And Rift Esports maybe need to force things, especially in the mid lane. Especially in mid lane and mid game, they need to force some things because they have good power spikes into the mid game.
First Dragon, of course, is gonna go down, and that is in favor of Random 5. Lee Sin is very quick at securing these objectives, and Trundle is taking the, I'm not sure, I think he did smite the Scout Crab. Yes, he is gonna go the side of Rift, and we did see him before. Like you said, he was obsessed with getting the Scuttle Crabs.
The juicy Scuttle Crab with a lot of gold and a lot of experience. It's a necessity for the junglers right now.
Again, though, I do see Rift spending so much of their gold onto vision, being able to see where the Lee Sin could come from if he is flanking. And on the other side, Random 5 are not really investing in it, which could potentially hurt them if a fight could break out before the point where they're farmed enough that even when they get flanked, they could perform onto a team fight.
Last game, that's what happened. They didn't invest in the vision. After the Ezreal getting caught in the mid lane, it was really easy for them to cut 2 more members of the Random 5 squad out of position, and then go straight up, secure the Baron, and end the game. So, investing into the vision, it's a really good strategy for the side of Rift Esports, and there is also a Rift Herald into the hands of the Trundle. Can be used.
The pace has slowed down a little bit right here, and the Rift Herald could be used toward the bot lane that nobody's really going towards. They are pinging that the Morgana started moving, but is very shortly going to be spotted by another ping.
Here comes the Rift Herald.
And here comes the Rift Herald, while the rest of Random 5 are sitting into that mid lane, 4 members, and now they are all heading towards that bot lane. This is going to be a 5 versus 2 fight. Sion does have ultimate if he needs to join them, and the Trundle is going to flash away from that bind. Let's see if they're going to be able to catch him. There is flash on the Shen, could be the taunt landing, and here he is right now. The Trundle is going to drop down the subjugate onto the Shen, but it's not going to be enough. Healing spree for the Kai'Sa of Random 5, and the Gangplank has to flash away to safety, while on the other hand, bot lane tower going down for Rift, and mid lane tower going down for Rift, for the price of 1 Trundle dying.
They chased for the kill, and the Rift Herald did its job, securing the turret. And now Kai'Sa going to finish the Rift Herald in the bot lane.
Beautiful rotations and macro
They are
play
obsessed
right
with
there
the mid lane
from Rift.
for some reason.
The Varus ultimate is going to be landing onto the Morgana, so is the Shen ultimate. The Varus is right now in trouble. Going to be enough to keep him alive because 5 members from Random 5 are right there, and the Sion drops as well, and it is going to be another kill for the Kai'Sa, but Tasteless with the Genius Ignite takes the Lee Sin with him.
The T special.
The Tasteless special Ignite right there takes the enemy jungler down, and now it's Random 5 that are knocking onto the front door of Rift. This is the first tier 2 mid lane tower that might be going down shortly. There is no wave clear, as you can see, apart from the barrels, and Random 5 are going to claim their mid lane tier 2 tower, might be resetting after that. Gangplank wants a little bit more action, as it seems.
Every Gangplank needs a little bit more action. It's in their blood.
He's more farmed at this point from the Shen, but that's usually what you see when the Shen does a CC team with all these teleports and all those ultimates, you would say. Whilst the Shen has to ultimate into the fight, the Gangplank can just assist by simply throwing his ultimate and staying in lane. He doesn't really have to TP in. Now let's see where both the teams are going to choose to go from there, because there's another tier 2 tower sitting for Rift into the top lane, and I would assume that that's what Random 5 are looking at right now. Sion could get caught here because Listen is heading towards the top lane. Let's see if the Q is going to land. It is going to land. The kick backwards onto the Ryze route right there. And the Sion is yet again in trouble. And he's going to go down for the 3rd time in this game.
How chasing Listen?
Zombie Sion ain't gonna do much damage this time. Let's see how Rift are gonna choose to turn this around. 50 seconds for the next dragon. And let's see what it is going to be.
They seem to control the game so far, but they need to make some decisions, make some plays, not just taking, making picks one after another. Needed to force things, maybe as 5. But we will see.
20 seconds for a dragon, and as you see right
it's a bit slow-paced game. But if you see the kills, you will say that they're too much, but the pace is not that fast for both.
It's kind of like they're happening in batches. Like we have a batch of kills, and then there's nothing, and then another batch, and then there's nothing. That's pretty much it. Ryze
and then a Ryze ultimate in the mid lane.
And he's gonna bring with him himself.
And the pillar.
Sion into the top lane does have his teleport, and this is now it. They have caught in the route the Shen, and the Sion is coming from the mid lane. Remember, the ultimate is going to be popped. The Shen is already down. There is nowhere near anywhere safe for that Listen to go, and that could be a pretty much free Ocean Drake for Rift and 2 kills. Beautiful stuff yet again.
They need to be really careful when they are engaging, as the Random 5 squad needs to be on point engaging the Rift squad. Because if you messed up with the taunt, or there is no follow-up from Ryze or Morgana into a target, it's really difficult to control the fight and win the fight. And that's what happened. No follow-up, the Chain of Corruption landed from the Varus, the silence, and then the chase. Ryze has to burn his flash, Morgana couldn't do anything there. Also Kai'Sa, because Kai'Sa has to be in the backline, not getting caught by the chain CC.
It's a little bit strange by Random 5 right there, because it felt to me like they tried to force a fight when they're clearly a big composition. They have to land the bind, they have to land the taunt, they have to land
the chain CC.
They have
not
to land
just brute force a 5v5.
Exactly, they can't brute force the 5v5 because right now Rift have the tools and the CC and the heals to stop Random 5 dead in their tracks, and we saw it right there with the Shen. He tried to engage, no flash of course on him, so he couldn't flash taunt to save his life, and he gets caught in between a Sion that's steeping into the mid lane and 4 members of Rift while sitting in a chain corruption, and the rest of Random 5 see the teleport and they're right, sorry dude, we're gonna back off, you got caught, we gotta get out of here, and that results on the Lee Sin dying as well.
Let's take a look at the items for the mid laners and of course the ADCs. You see the Sion has completed the defensive item, going for maybe the banner of command, the new banner of command, or an Aegis. I don't see different stuff into this. On the other side, Ryze has stacked 2 items, going for the Morellonomicon, the bot lane 2 Rage Blades, and the Nashor's Tooth for Varus.
It is that mixed build that we have seen from the Varus.
With the Death Cup?
We could be seeing the Death Cup, but talking about Death Cups, the Gangplank has been caught in between 3 members of the Random 5.
Has just bought his own Death Cup.
Derax, though, might be saving him for a couple of seconds. It's not enough. 5, 1, and 2 on that Kai'Sa. And it feels to me like whoever picks Kai'Sa so far is winning the game.
You need to be really careful.
Ultimate is trying to get away. The knock-up is not going to land. Very clever stuff by the Ryze right there to be able to get away, get into that fog of war, and try to get out of the knock-up. Q is going to land onto the Soraka, and they might be followed by a kick back. A kick onto the Varus, though, and another Q landing onto the Soraka. Beautiful stuff right there by the Lee Sin. Soraka might be getting away. Chain of Corruption gonna land, and Varus, before he dies, takes with him...
Soraka is still alive.
And the Soraka is still alive, right? Gangplank up and running. He has that teleport.
But
if
no
Random
ultimate.
5 choose to go for that Baron, which I don't think they would without their Shen there.
And of course, they also need the mid lane priority.
Oh, Soraka again, beautiful dots right there by Tasteless onto that Lee Sin Q, but now they have their eye onto the Sion. I'm not sure that is the correct target to go for, but then again, if you kick the Sion in between 4 members of Random 5, I'm pretty sure they have more than enough damage, especially with that 4-1-4 Ryze and the 5-1-2 Kai'Sa. Their carries are extremely fed at this point in the game.
They need to threaten the Baron right now. They need to focus more into securing 100% of vision around the objective and try to force something, take the TP out of GP and the Sion that is close to be up again. Try to maybe threaten the Baron buff and then make a pick, because even in a 5v fight, straight up team fight, maybe they cannot just win the fight because of the crowd control that the Rift composition offers to themselves.
Here we go. We see the fight for the Vision beginning right now, and Rift have just gone into the topside river, trying to get rid of as many wards as possible, but there's still 2 remaining right there for Random 5, and now it's Random 5's turn to get into that river and try to get some vision on this Baron for themselves. 1 minute left on the
You push the mid lane, you push the top lane, you go for the vision into the Baron pit. That's the story. And I think that this will be the story. Even, or maybe a team can do something wrong, get caught out of position, 1 member, and then you have the Baron. Yeah, I don't see a different way to do so. You need to push the mid lane, you need to push the bot lane, and always have your top laner at the bottom lane trying to push to each other, and then try to secure the vision. But they have a lot of vision. The Random 5 has a lot of vision around the Baron with 2 control wards, a 3rd, I think, into that bush.
We talked about this before, the fact how Random 5 has a big composition. They have the binds, they have the Lee Sin kicks, they have the flash taunts. It is so hard for Soraka to get anywhere near close to Random 5 without any vision to try and ward for herself. So she does need the assistance of her team to be able to get in there, get those wards down. And this is going to be an infernal dragon coming up right now. This fight could potentially mean Baron if one of the teams aces each other.
I think that's really difficult right now.
The Shen is right there. Rift has to be careful.
Sion is in the top lane.
Wanted. Sion is in the top lane. Again, he does have that teleport that he needs. And here comes the Ryze ultimate. He's trying to get a kick onto the Varus, but he gets Chain of Corruption in the face instead. Now they have caught the Kai'Sa and shut down. Morgana's gonna go down as well. Nobody is taking care of that Varus. Ever since that Lee Sin jumped in, straight Chain of Corruption, and nobody catched that Varus. Everybody focused on Soraka, which is obviously the most obvious thing to do when you're against Soraka. You get Soraka down, you stop the heals, and now the Gangplank is keeping the Ryze onto that Dragon while the rest of Rift are trying to take the Baron, and Gangplank could potentially take that Dragon away from the Ryze as well. I'm very interested to see that 1v1 going on in the both side of the river, as in who is gonna get that Dragon.
And now you see a small mistake, a small misplay.
Here it comes. It's a 1v1 between the Gangplank and the Rise, won by the Gangplank so far. Rise might be walking backwards right now, but the Soraka is coming and the Morgana is coming. It is a support versus support, but the Lee Sin is right there, and guess what? He brings the smite with him, and the Dragon is gonna get smited by him. Second Dragon from Random 5, and it is an Infernal. Pretty good stuff from them to be able to grab whatever the map has left, and Infernal Dragon is nowhere near bad.
A small misplay for the side of Random 5 has donated the Baron buff to the side of Rift Esports. And now we need to see what Rift Esports are able to do in order to siege and take objectives, turrets, maybe inhibitors, or force another fight, another 5v5 fight like the last one, when Varus was practically untouched the whole fight. Lee Sin tried for the insect, but once he failed because of the chain of corruption, the fight was over.
Silence. It is such a great combo when you have the Varus and the Soraka, because once the chain of corruption lands, the silence lands right on top of it. So whoever is trying to come in to save you, or if you try to save yourself somehow, you are just not able to do that with the silence on the floor. Senna might be getting caught away from his team. He's going to dash through that wall, of course. The Sion has pushed a humongous wave onto the bot lane, but it's getting cleared up pretty fast.
They have a lot of wave clear to secure that they wave clear enough.
And it is very dangerous for the Varus to get anywhere near this tower, because he is a short-range ADC. And like we said, Random 5 do have a lot of peak potential onto their team. So the first inhibitor tower is going to go down in favor of Rift and the inhibitor as well. Let's see if they're going to choose to refresh their gold and their items right now. They're going to keep on pushing. From what I see right here, Sion is going to keep on splitting that bot lane, and the rest of Rift are going to choose to go towards that top, pressure that wave in as well with their Baron buff, and maybe take care of that last outer tower that's still standing for Random 5.
You see how big the cannon minion is with the Baron buff?
Oh, here it comes. Sion is against the Shen and the Rise. Kai'Sa has just come in, and we do have the shutdown from the Trundle onto the Rise.
And they are pushing into the top lane.
On the other hand, though, Random 5 is not looking what's happening to their tower. Shutdown onto the Trundle as well. But in what cost? Random 5 seem to be losing focus on the objectives right here. We saw a fight in the previous game where they focused too much on the kills and they lost 2 towers at once. Here again, they do get 1 kill and they lose something even more precious to them. They lose their second inhibitor, and right now that Lee Sin is being chased, has to flush away from the barrels, and right now the Soraka has been caught, has to pop the ultimate to stay alive.
Look
but
at the Varus.
Hammering onto the Nexus towers of Random 5. The taunt is not going to land on him. Chain of Corruption is going to miss because the Sen flashes away a huge barrel from the Gangplank. All this damage he's doing, and it is a Rift win again with a 2-0 clean sweep for them in that best of 3 of the day. Good game, well played for Rift Esports. So we have reached the end of the day right here. Rift show us again the good face like they did on Monday. They seem unbeatable unbeatable so far. 2-2-0 clean sweeps in 2 best-of-3s that they have played, sitting at the top of the standings with 6 points right now. I want any last words before we close today's day of games.
First game was clean for the side of Rift. They managed to control the game. Now, the second one was a little bit of comeback. 2 bad fight, especially 1 bad fight. Lee Sin tried to do his job to kick the Varus into his team. A beautiful chain of corruption, and then a layer of silence from Soraka was more than enough to secure that the Varus remained untouched the whole fight, and manages to clean up Trundle, uses the subjugate into Sen. Beautifully played also by the Trundle, peeling with the Scion, creating space for the Varus, and that was exactly what the Rift squad needed. They forced the next inhibitor turret. They forced the first inhibitor. They tried to split. Random 5 went for the pick, but Varus free hitting a tower with no resistance and a burn buffed minion is practically another free turret, another free inhibitor. So we see that the Rift are sticking with their macro plan. They're executing their macro plan, and they are able to come back into games that wasn't so easy for them to control since the early game.
So we saw that the tasteless special, as we called it on the Soraka, did work. And
but
again,
it's not ending for Random 5 now. You see, now they have more experience. It was their first game into the group stage.
Exactly. So that is it from us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us for the second day of our group stage of ESL Southeast Europe Championship Season 7. So from myself, Georgia Tablikras, and Costa Masaropoulos, we wish you a lovely evening, and we'll see you again on Sunday. Stay tuned.
Jack it up.